Get out of your own way. Our text today, trying to change others. Trying to change others. Got a quote today from Viktor Frankl, says this, and I quote, "When we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. When we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Recently, I asked the 4 couples in the therapy group, how many of you feel that if your relationship is to get better, your partner has to change? Without hesitation, 8 hands went up. Then I asked, how many feel that you have to change? After a moment of awkward hesitation, everyone raised a hand, not with conviction, but because they knew it was expected of them. Relationships often come to a standstill because both parties feel it is time for a change, but each one thinks the other should do the change. While they try to force the change or wait for it to come about, they refuse to fully accept the other person. This is self-defeating because it usually provokes resistance or even rebellion, not cooperation. Not only does no one change, but the relationship gets contaminated by resentment and bitterness. Perhaps the most common reason for divorce is that one partner fails to become the person the other dreamed of. Rather than not accepting the other person until he changes, accept him as he is and hope he changes. Of course, certain attitudes and behaviors are unacceptable and non-negotiable. If that's what you're faced with, you have some serious thinking to do. Don't underestimate how difficult it can be and how miserable you can become if you try to change someone who has qualities you just cannot accept. With anything short of that, however, the best strategy is to accept first and hope for change later. Wow, accept first and hope for change later. Wow, this does not necessarily mean you should keep quiet about your concerns, but it might mean conveying a more accepting attitude, a message such as, "I love you, but this bothers me, and I hope very much that it can change," will generate a more positive response than "you better change or else." Chances are the traits you find objectionable bother the other person too. Your acceptance might make him or her feel secure enough to work on improving. Conditional acceptance is also a major issue between parents and children. Take, for example, Gail, a single mother, and her daughter, Marcy. Gail wanted Marcy to grow up to be a self-sufficient woman, but Marcy seemed to have little ambition and even less discipline. In her zeal to instill the desired qualities in her daughter, Gail resorted to scolding and punishing. This would motivate Marcy for a while, but before long she would rebel again. She was willing to jeopardize her own future just to prove that she was her own person. Can you accept Marcy for just being herself? I asked Gail. If you can't, she's going to stay stuck and you'll deprive yourself of the joy of being a mother. It took a great deal of effort for Gail to accept her daughter as is, but the struggle paid off. Marcy actually wanted to have behaved differently, but she couldn't change unless she was certain it was her own choice, not just a way to win her mother's approval. If you expect people to change, you can drive yourself crazy waiting for it to happen. If you try to make them change, you will drive them crazy. But if you accept them as they are and tell them that you hope they'll change, they just might do it. Let me repeat this again. If you expect people to change, you can drive yourself crazy waiting for it to happen. If you try to make them change, you will drive them crazy. But if you accept them as they are and tell them that you hope they'll change, they might just do it. Here's a usable insight from our reading. Don't try to change people. Accept them as they are and hope they'll change. Don't try to change people. Accept them as they are and hope they'll change. Taking action. Next time you're frustrated with a person in your life, pause and ask yourself, if he never changes, will that be okay? Will I be able to continue loving him anyway? If the answer is yes, you should be able to change your expectations and still feel good about the relationship. Instead of feeling like a helpless victim, make an active, conscious choice to let him be who he is. List the person's good qualities and bad qualities. To truly accept him, spend some time developing an active appreciation of the good qualities. Choose to convert your need to change the bad qualities to the hope that he will change. Your well-being should not depend on another person changing. Take pride in knowing you have chosen to be gracious rather than bitter. And if you choose to tell the person that you hope he changes, offer a trade-off by asking, is there anything about me that you hope I change? By leveling the playing field, you give him greater incentive to make the effort. Wow. If you choose to tell the person that you hope he changes, offer a trade-off by asking, is there anything about me that you hope I change? By leveling the playing field, you will give him greater incentive to make the effort. Trying to change other people, getting out of your own way, overcoming self-defeating behavior, practical lessons for conquering procrastination, fear, envy, neediness, guilt, and more by Mark Goulston, MD, and Philip Goldberg.